evening, truth seekers, and welcome to another eye-opening episode of Evil Exposed News Channel 666, where we strip away the facade and reveal the dark, twisted realities lurking behind today's headlines. I'm Luther Johnson, bringing you the stories that will make you question what's really happening out there.
And I'm Gloria Hastings, here to remind you that sometimes the truth is stranger and darker than fiction. Let's dive into tonight's top stories, starting with a tragic hit-and-run in North Hollywood that has left a family shattered.
On a quiet evening in North Hollywood, 27-year-old Leda Medina was out for a run when her life was brutally cut short. Struck by a speeding Toyota Corolla as she crossed the street, Leda was left to die in the crosswalk, her shoes knocked off by the impact. The driver, he fled the scene, leaving behind a wrecked car just blocks away.
Fortunately, the LAPD has made an arrest. Van Nuys resident Oleg Bocharov is now in custody, facing felony charges for the hit and run. Leda's husband, Kevin, speaks of the heartache trying to piece together his life after this unimaginable loss. And here's the kicker. Leda was training for a 5K run, striving to improve her health. Instead, her story ends with a makeshift memorial on a street corner and a family trying to find closure where there may be none. Speaking of twisted, let's head down to sunny Florida, where a local teacher took hands-on learning to a whole new level, and not in a good way.
That's right, Gloria. In Deltona, Florida, a 59-year-old teacher is facing felony child abuse charges after allegedly putting a 3-year-old boy with autism in a chokehold during story time. And no, folks, this isn't a fairy tale gone wrong. It's a very real, very disturbing reality.
While reading to the class, the teacher reportedly restrained the child between her legs, using her feet to hold him in place. A paraeducator witnessed the event, took photos, and immediately reported it to the authorities. The teacher, who's been in the profession for over 36 years, denies the severity of the act, even when shown photographic evidence.
She's now behind bars, and the school district is investigating. But here's the million-dollar question, Gloria. How does someone with 36 years of experience think this is acceptable behavior? Perhaps it's time for her to turn in her chalk and grab some chalk lines instead.
And now, from one tragedy to another, this time on the chaotic highways of Chicago, where a shooting spree turned the I-57 expressway into a death trap.
In a chilling act of violence, 20-year-old Sean Richardson has been charged with 3 counts of first-degree murder and attempted murder after a February 19th shooting that claimed the lives of a 1-year-old girl, her 19-year-old father, and a 13-year-old boy. Their car, riddled with bullet holes, came to a stop on the expressway's off-ramp, an exit they never had a chance to take.
Chicago is no stranger to violence, but when innocent children become the targets, it's a reminder that the streets and the highways are far from safe. A $7,000 reward is on the table for information leading to more arrests. Because in this city, justice isn't just a word, it's a lifeline.
Finally tonight, we take you to Shosett, New York, where a family feud over an inheritance ended in a gruesome murder-suicide.
After his mother's funeral, Joseph DeLucia Jr. decided that he wasn't going to lose his family home, even if it meant taking out his family to keep it. Armed with a 12-gauge shotgun, he shot and killed his 2 sisters, his brother, and his niece before turning the gun on himself. The motive? He feared being cut out of the will.
And here's the kicker, Gloria. The family wasn't even planning to cut him out. They were just planning to sell the house. But in Joseph Jr.'s twisted mind, homelessness wasn't an option. Instead, he chose to make sure no one had a home.
In the end, the real tragedy here isn't just the loss of life, it's the loss of sanity. Because when it comes to money, some people will do anything to make sure they get what they think they deserve, even if it means leaving no one left to collect.
And that's it for tonight, folks. Remember, when the world gets dark, we'll be here to shine a light on the shadows. Until next time, stay safe, if you can.
And keep your wits about you, because out there, reality's stranger than any fiction. Good night.